Imagine having a massive fortune today, only for it to completely rot, spoil, and disappear by next week. For early humans, this wasn't a nightmare. It was daily reality. Barter had opened a powerful new path. It allowed people to turn a surplus into survival. A stone tool could buy food. An animal skin could buy protection. A little bit of extra meat could pay for someone else's hard work. But as communities grew, this beautiful system hit a major roadblock. People quickly realized that value is completely relative. An object could be incredibly important to one person, but mean absolutely nothing to another. Some items spoiled too fast, some were too heavy to carry, and others were only useful at specific times of the year. This pushed humanity toward a brand new idea. They realized the real question was no longer, what can we trade? The deeper, world-changing question was this: what single object will everyone, everywhere, always accept? In this episode, we will look at the most critical steps on the long road to modern currency. Because many things in this world can be valuable, but not everything can become money. In the ancient world, value depended entirely on human need. For a hungry family, food was the ultimate value. For someone shivering in the dark, an animal skin meant survival. For someone who couldn't craft weapons, a well-shaped stone axe was a treasure. But there was a massive difference between something being valuable and something being money. Just because an item was precious to you, it didn't mean your neighbor wanted it. A tool you spent days making might be completely useless to a tribe that already had dozens of them. Slowly, a new realization began to dawn on early societies. An object is valuable when it answers a personal need. But it becomes powerful in trade only when the entire community is willing to accept it. Humans hadn't invented actual currency yet, but they were starting to notice that some objects were simply much better for exchange than others. The absolute biggest enemy of the barter system was time. Food was the perfect example. A hunter might have a mountain of fresh meat today, but in a few days, it would rot and become worthless. Fruits got crushed, and wild plants dried up. While these resources were life-saving in the moment, they couldn't provide security for the future. Humanity needed to think about tomorrow. If you were giving away your hard work in exchange for an item, you needed to be 100% sure that item would still be useful weeks or months later. This is why durability became a survival trait for trade. If an object could last a long time without losing its quality, people trusted it more. If it could be safely stored, kept, and used later, it became a superior tool for exchange. Without even realizing it, early humans were defining the very first rule of money. The medium of exchange cannot just be useful today. It must keep its power tomorrow. An object could be incredibly valuable and last forever, but if it was too heavy to move, it was completely useless for trade. In the ancient world, humans were constantly on the move. They followed migrating animals, searched for safer lands, and changed locations with the seasons. Therefore, it wasn't enough for an item to be useful. It had to be portable. A massive, heavy rock or a giant log was impossible to carry over mountains and across rivers. Dangerous, clumsy, or oversized objects made trade harder instead of easier. Over time, people naturally gravitated toward things they could easily hold in their hands, put in a pouch, and carry over long distances. Exchange wasn't just about the abstract concept of value, it was literally about physical movement. For trade to flow, the object had to travel effortlessly from person to person. Even if an item was durable and easy to carry, everything still depended on one final test. Will the other person actually take it? If you walked for miles carrying a beautifully durable stone, but the person selling wheat refused to accept it, the trade died right there. For a true economy to form, a trading tool needed wider acceptance. When a person accepted an object in a deal, they shouldn't just think about how they could use it themselves. They needed to feel confident that they could easily pass it on to a third person later. This was a massive psychological leap. The object stopped being important just for its physical use. It became important because it represented a promise, a universal agreement that anyone in the community would gladly take it. This shared agreement is the exact foundation upon which all money is built. When early humans traded, they were looking at the big picture. They realized that the ultimate tool for exchange had to fit a specific formula. It had to last. It had to move easily. It had to be desired by the majority. And most importantly, it had to create trust over time. These weren't written laws or economic theories. They were practical, painful lessons learned through daily trial and error. People tried trading everything. Some items failed miserably. Others worked surprisingly well. Slowly but surely, humanity was discovering the answer to the ultimate question. Can everything become money? No. Only a very select few objects could survive the test. Barter taught humanity how to cooperate. But the brutal limits of barter forced us to search for something much better. We learned that not every valuable resource is good for trade. If it rots, if it's too heavy, or if people don't universally trust it, it cannot function as an economic bridge. Instead, humanity began looking for the exceptions. Things that survived the seasons, things that traveled lightly, and things that everyone naturally wanted. Ancient societies didn't wake up one day and discover money. First, they learned exactly what did not work. And through that failure, they began to isolate the most powerful objects in the ancient world. The era of simple barter was coming to an end. A new question was taking over the world. What kind of value can everyone trust? In our next episode, we will see this mysterious search become incredibly concrete. We will explore the unusual, fascinating objects that stopped being just things and became the world's very first forms of actual money.